I'm fucking burnt out. So, some of you have noticed I didn't put a video out during my home time or, yesterday when I was back to work. Basically, my home time didn't quite go as I had initially planned. Like, I wanted to get out in the woods and go backpacking. And I ended up just hanging out with friends and family and, kind of, I don't know, I was just disenfranchised with New York in general, as far as there's really nothing I could do that I felt comfortable and, desirable to do other than hanging with my friends and family. So when I wasn't hanging out with people, I just was getting my shit together for my music setup for the truck, and I installed a hard drive in my Akai Force and got all of that together. And I made a few songs during that process, and maybe I'll throw them at the end of this video. I don't know. Could happen. But, I'm just wore out with politics, with the virus, with all of this bullshit that's just fucking with me. I'm tired of it. It's getting to now where I'm starting to, like, even the commentators that I use to keep up with stuff, I'm just kind of like, I don't really want to keep up with everything. So I'll just read, like, the title of the video. I'm like, oh, well, I can figure out how that went down without having to hear it in detail. And of course, I'm not clicking mainstream media for the most part either. Unless, if I see that something really significant that hasn't been happening for the last fucking I don't know how many days, then I might listen to it. But for the most part, I'm just burnt out on all of it. And it makes me, I don't know, I wouldn't say depressed, but I've been tired. Like, low energy. Not sad, not melancholy. Just, I don't feel like doing shit. I don't feel like going out. I thought about trying to play poker while I was in New York, since I wasn't really going to get out in the woods. And I didn't even want to do that because I knew I'd have to sit there for hours with my mask on. And I did go out to dinner, but that's about it. I didn't really enjoy my time in New York at all. As far as outside I had fun with my friends. I had fun visiting my mother. But other than that, as far as stuff to do in New York, I don't love New York. I also prepped my paperwork, and my next home time's in South Dakota, so I'm going to make a go at changing my residency. I hope it goes smoothly. I ain't going to lie, I'm a bit fucking nervous about it. It's a big move to change my domicile to another state. Now, that's not going to really change much of my life. I'm still going to go to New York. I got friends and family there. My car is there. But at the same time, I won't be participating in the economy as much in New York. I won't be paying taxes in New York. And I won't have to be subject to Cuomo's shit. The number one way to escape that tyrant is to leave New York. And a lot of people have done so, and, I'm going to consider myself to be among them. I'm hoping I don't have to rent a place that I won't be in because I'm over the road just to establish my residency. But if I have to, I will, to be honest with you. You know, it's still going to be cheaper than what I pay in New York taxes. So, yeah. So that's going to happen. I'll keep you posted on how that goes, because I know some people are considering something like that because their governors are pieces of shit, especially if you're in California. California is arguably one of the few states that's worse than New York in my book. So I feel bad for you motherfuckers in California. You know, I don't know how you're putting up with that shit. You know, that, plus you got wildfires on top of it and record-breaking heat while they're cutting off your air conditioning. Yeah, no. As far as compliance and virus fear in New York, everybody's definitely still mostly compliant, particularly in stores and whatnot. But I'm seeing less compliance in factories, manufacturers, and warehouses. You know, people are just kind of, they don't like wearing that shit for fucking 10, 12 hours a day. So I imagine they're not as, you know, they still got the signs on the door, but most of the workers inside, no masks. Not going to tell who, because then Cuomo would come in with the, you know, the fucking secret police and put everybody on the floor like he did in Oneonta. I mean, let's talk about Oneonta a bit, because that was the big story, the big outbreak in New York that supposedly is ridiculous. If this story doesn't convince you that the virus is nothing to be feared at this point, then there's no help for you. I'm sorry. But they're close to 800 cases. Tested with a test that is very sensitive, that will pick up any coronavirus, not just COVID-19, but any other coronavirus will test positive as well. And they tested 500 plus college students, and, you know, it's 800-ish total for the whole community. And they tested positive with no symptoms. 800 people tested positive with 0 hospitalizations. Never mind deaths. Nobody had to go to the hospital for it. And because they tested positive, mind you, after they paid their tuition and showed up, they could have tested them before they even fucking showed up. Tested them right when they get off the plane. I thought we were doing that. They didn't do that. They let them show up, pay their tuition, pay for their dorms, and then they came in and tested everybody. A lot of the students were from New York City, where it's pretty much probably herd immunity at this point in New York City. And lo and behold, a bunch of them test positive. Yeah, they were partying. Yeah, they were doing what you're supposed to do when you go to college. You're not there to learn. You can learn at home. You're there to socialize and network and party. That's what college kids are doing. You know, I've seen kids run up $100,000 student loan debt just so that they can fucking party in the prestigious university. You know, I've hauled them around in the Uber. They're there to be human beings and socialize and exercise their constitutional right to gather peaceably. But that wasn't to be allowed in Oneonta. They sent motherfuckers in hazmat suits in. It's like some sci-fi shit, rousting them out of the dorms in the middle of the night and locking them up. Locking up college students in a shitty isolation dorm and giving them subpar food, from what I've seen. That's what's going on in New York, and this is all at Cuomo's behest. This is what Cuomo wants. I can't be in a government that's like that. And it makes me sad, because there's parts of New York that I really enjoy. I enjoy the Adirondacks. I like the lakes. I like, you know, a lot of the natural areas of New York. I like it there. I've got my friends and family there, and they can't move. You know, my mother owns her house. So it would be dumb for her to move. And, you know, my friends, they've got responsibilities in New York. So they can't move. But I can't contribute to and be under that kind of government. I spent 10 years in the military so that we didn't end up in that kind of situation. That's why I volunteered to be in the military. At age 17, mind you. I had to get a waiver signed to go in. And I gave up the majority of my 20s to the government because I thought that we needed to maintain our freedom. And here we are with a bunch of governors taking it away. And I'm burnt out. I'm fucking burnt out on it. I really am. Because there's nothing more I can do. I'm doing everything that I can. I'm talking shit on my channel. I'm getting the fuck out of New York and going to the only state that I've seen that didn't completely fuck over the Constitution. Now, granted, it's not the greatest state, South Dakota, for, you know, it's not the ideal place to live at all times. The winters there are very harsh. They're even right now probably getting snow because we had an early snowstorm in the middle of the country. But it's ironic to me that the one state where I was stationed in the military is the state that maintained constitutional freedom throughout the whole pandemic and continues to be open and inviting. Now, granted, some cities and towns in South Dakota are restricting some freedoms, but not to the level of Cuomo and Newsom and those motherfuckers. No. You're not going to get a fine. You're not going to go to jail. There are businesses that are going to harass you about putting a mask on. Just don't go to those ones. Go to the ones that don't. And there's still plenty that don't. At least the last time I was there. There's lots of natural beauty in western South Dakota, I believe. So, you know, that covers my base there. There's places for me to camp. There's places for me to go on BLM type land, or not, well, national forest or national grasslands, and camp for free. There's, you know, places where I can go sing karaoke. There's places where I can, you know, I say I'm pretty basic in my needs for a place to spend my time. You know, it's a smaller town, it's a smaller population than New York, and I believe that the way things have been going in most large cities, I actually look at that as a virtue. You know, there's been 0 riots in there. There's been peaceful protests, mind you, in South Dakota, but recently they came out with a study about the riots versus peaceful protests. And there was 0 riots in South Dakota. In fact, I remember they tried. They got smacked down very quickly. I believe it was in Sioux Falls that they tried to start to loot a store or some shit. And they all got arrested and prosecuted immediately. And that was that. So I've just been wore out with all of it, you know. I've been spending time practicing music and learning things and singing karaoke on the SMULE app. I've been doing that. And I'm just kind of waiting for this shit to be over. I really, you know, I want it to be over, all of this bullshit. You know, I realize it's not going to completely end even after the election. We're going to be dealing with shit. So I don't know. I didn't have the energy to be creative as far as making a video and getting out and doing a walk and talk or anything like that. I just didn't have the energy. So that's why I haven't been on YouTube for the past week. Don't worry, I'm not stopping. Obviously, I'm here making this video this morning because I got some spare time today. I'm sure I'm still going to keep up with shit. But I think I need to stop fighting, you know. Yeah, on my channel, I'm pretty much at this point, the people that I'm going to convince about the virus have been convinced already, some of whom I wasn't the one that convinced them. And then there's people that are scared of the virus that want to continue to live in fear and lockdown, and I'm just not going to get through to anybody at this point. I'm not changing any hearts and minds talking about it all the time. So it's probably going to, I'm not saying there isn't going to be times when there's rants. Obviously, it's hard for me to not fucking rant. But I think I need to focus more on improving my life and on my music that I really want to start practicing a lot more, because the winter's coming. I'm not going to be able to get out and about as much in the snow. It's not going to be fun. I'm not a, go out in the snow kind of guy. Occasionally, but no, I don't like being cold. I don't like snow in general. I'm out in it, obviously, in the truck, but I'm just going to kind of do my thing out here, and we'll see. I don't know how that's going to go content-wise, where I talk a bit less about masks and the virus and Cuomo and all the shit that's pissed me off and politics. We just got to wait for the election, and please get out and vote. And I'm sorry, but I endorse Trump at this point. I cannot endorse anybody in the Democratic Party because of all of the crap that they've done in this country, from the state, local, and congressional levels. And definitely we don't want one of them motherfuckers in the White House. If we get a Democrat government, then what's going on in New York and California and Michigan will go on for most of the country. And even, states that have maintained freedom won't maintain freedom. And I know some of you that's going to piss off that it's just the lesser of two evils for me at this point. I don't want to see us lose any more freedoms than we've already lost. And I think if the White House and Congress turn blue, then that'll be that. I think Democrats have gone far left and far crazy enough that freedom is no longer possible. Ideally, you'd like to have a balance, but not if the one side has become so extreme. And that's what's happened. It used to be I could criticize both sides equally. I can criticize the Democratic Party a lot more because they are allowing the riots, they are pushing lockdowns and the death of small businesses and the middle class. They are destroying freedoms left and right. They're drunk on COVID power right now. And I just can't in good conscience and, see anything good coming out of a Democrat victory in the White House. So, I don't necessarily think Trump's the end-all be-all either. You know that. He's, got an atrocious narcissistic personality. But he's not taking away our freedom. I can't think of a single policy move he's done that's negatively impacted me. So, I'm not too happy he's going for fucking vaccines. And if anything, that's a good thing, because him endorsing vaccines apparently is going to make the Democrats anti-vax. So there's that, which is fucking hilarious. I thought, all you have to do to manipulate the Democratic Party is have Trump endorse something, and then suddenly the entire Democratic Party thinks it's bullshit and horrible. And that's the state of our fucking politics, and we're doomed because of it, I think. If that's how easily it is to get a party to shift its principles, is just have, we could just have Trump endorse all the Democratic principles from that side of the aisle, and then next thing you know, you could flip the entire Democratic Party's ideals, with the exception of the far left, who gives no fucks about the moderates, gives no fucks about everybody else. All they want to see is They want us to not have any freedom. They want to watch it all burn. They want no property rights whatsoever, and the Democratic Party as a whole has refused to disavow them. So that's my political take. But hey, I don't do politics on this channel for the most part, with the exception of some of the Cuomo shit. But this is the one time I've taken sides in all of these years. I've been largely disenfranchised with both parties for a long time. I can't imagine a libertarian's ever going to get in the White House, so I got two choices. And I'm not just talking about the White House. We need a complete flip of a lot of seats in the Congress and in the Senate. We need all these fucking governors who are drunk on COVID power to be ousted. One thing that we have learned from this entire crisis is the power the local governments actually have directly over your life. It's worse than what the White House could do to you. Everyone wants to blame Trump for shit. Look at what your local governors can do to you. Look at what your mayors can do to you in some cities. Look at Portland. Look at what the mayor of Portland has done to Portland. That's a lot of power. I took for granted that the local government had that much authority and power to destroy our freedom this way. And I hope that at some point we can walk it back to where they don't have the power to take away your constitutional rights, that you could easily stand up to them. Unfortunately, it's not that simple, apparently. And then we got the media, who has become pretty much puppets of the far left. And then we got people that are just brainwashed by it all into compliance. It's depressing. It really is. The way things have gone. It's, I'll keep you posted on how things go on my next home time. And my home times are going to shift south for the winter. This will be my last northern home time, I think, for a while. And then I'm probably going to check out Texas and, some of the southern states while it's fucking cold out, just so I can see how things are going down there. I haven't been down there to have time off for a while, so it'll be interesting to see how freedom was maintained in the South in some of these places. So, yeah. But what the fuck do I know anyway? I do know that we should all be voting right now, so get out there if you're not, whether it's with your feet or on the ballot box, and vote in person. Don't do that mail-in shit. Your shit's going to get lost in the mail if you're not voting a certain way. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And then we'll be spending a month or two after election dealing with trying to get the results. So vote in person. Put your mask on if you're afraid. Put a full fucking hazmat suit on if you're afraid. But go vote in person. Because if you can't trust the elections, we're done. No matter what side you're on, if you can't trust the results of the election, we're done. Now, and we've seen that's the other thing that I got against the Democrats is the temper tantrum. Ever since Trump got elected, they've been throwing hissy fits and wasting time trying to impeach him and just, completely deranged about it because they didn't get their way. I'm sorry, but he got elected. I had to put up with plenty of presidents over the years that I didn't agree with, including some I had to work for in the military. And I didn't throw a hissy fit. I just, bitched a little bit and moved on. I've never seen this level of hysteria that we got when Trump got in, you know. So, oh well. So, just wanted to check in with you and get my subs reduced again, because they were starting to creep up for me not making a video, and I know when I make a video it's going to jump back down. So I just wanted to keep my subscriber count where it is. It's what happens when you make videos here on YouTube. And I'll keep you posted on my travels as I get out here, and anything else I want to talk about in terms of lifestyle, in terms of keto and fasting and minimalism and living a nomadic life. But I just needed some time to kind of recover. Might need a few more days still, but we'll get there. Please like and subscribe for more shit. I'll make more shit. I am going to try and go live this week at some point on dlive to do a karaoke stream, since my time rolled over. Oh, I forgot to tell you, one thing I did do, this is a lifestyle thing. I now own my phone. I paid this motherfucker off. So my phone bill's going to go way down, you know. And I paid off my credit card, and I am 100% debt-free. So, you know, I'm just paying for my phone service at this point, as far as debts go. So being 100% debt-free is something I did accomplish this home time. And it feels good, you know, to not have that debt hanging over me. So, of course, if I break my phone, I'm going to cry because I have to buy a whole new one. But I'm going to have enough cash that if that happens, I pretty much am self-insured. I can buy a new phone. It's good incentive to not break my phone. But, yeah, I accomplished that. So subscribe to my free email list on ScottTheTruckDriver.com, and I will let you know when I go live on dlive this week. I have to fire that shit up at some point and get it all up to speed. And, yeah. And I'm going to be making more music. You're going to see some original music within my videos, and also here and there I'll put out songs like I had started to do on this channel. Just because I like sharing my music with you guys. So here's one of the songs I worked on during my little time off. And I'll talk to yous later and shit. Have a nice motherfucking day. And shit. I am tired though. It's just, when is this over? You know, when can we go back to normal life? That's all I want, really. I've become thankful of the way things were in 2019. If we could go back to 2019, as fucked up as 2019 is, I'm all for it. Can we just go back to that and start over? You know, and continue on a normal path instead of this weird path that we're on? Have a nice motherfucking day and shit.